government, through the Social Protection Community and Human Development Cluster, is hosting a joint media briefing to respond and clarify the implications of the findings of the research study on sanitary pads published by the Department of Chemistry at the University of Free State. This happened last month. Now, various government departments and public entities with regulatory mandates have in the past weeks been overwhelmed with media and public inquiries about the implications of the research findings, which found the presence of hazardous chemicals in some sanitary pads and panty liners that were sold in South Africa. Now, the cluster, co-chaired by the Minister of Health, Dr. Mokoena, will clarify the health and regulatory implications. SABC News reporter Puseletso Mokoena is there for us this hour. So, Puseletso, this is quite an important one to look out for, seeing that we already on International Women's Day. Talk to us about some of the conversations we should anticipate to come out of that briefing.
Well, certainly, Mkolisi, we are at the GCIS here in Pretoria, whereby we are expecting a briefing from the National Department of Health, together with other stakeholders, of course. But how this briefing came about, you'd remember that the study emerged at the University of Free State, whereby it was found that 16 brands of sanitary pads contain traces of chemicals that might lead to hormonal imbalance. Now, of course, this caused confusions with women asking themselves a lot of questions and worrying about their health and safety. But we understand that we are about to hear more from the Minister of Health, Dr. Mokoena, on some of the implications and findings of this new study that emerged at the University of Pretoria. But I just want to quickly bring in Tracy Malawana from I Am Straight Movement. Tracy, thank you so much for your time. As a woman and as an advocate for the movement that you're running, I Am Straight, what were some of your reactions when you found out that there are chemicals that are found in 16 brands of sanitary pads that might lead to hormonal imbalances?
Thank you for having us. So the first reaction, of course, was similar to the reaction of many of South Africans who menstruate or who are parents to, girls and young women who are menstruating. So we were concerned, we were anxious. Our members were calling, asking, what should we do? But as an organization that has been in this space for a very long time, advocating for menstrual health equity in South Africa, and also even proposed a menstrual health equity bill to Parliament, our first approach was to reach out to the University of Free State to commend them on the incredible work that they have done to bring in light this critical evidence. This critical evidence, and which you've already, elaborated on that, which found that about 16 menstrual sanitary pads and 6 panty liners from the most trusted brands and also marketed as most trusted brands in South Africa have endocrine disrupting, chemicals, which may cause hormonal, which may disrupt or interfere with our hormones. But it also states that prolonged exposure can lead to serious sexual and reproductive health issues. So our first reaction was, being concerned, but as an organization, you need to provide leadership. So we decided that we are going to focus on the right people who are supposed to protect us as citizens and also as girls, women, and people who menstruate. And those people are the government of South Africa. They are obligated by the Constitution to ensure that our right to health, our right to dignity, and our right to bodily integrity is not compromised. Then lastly was to also call on corporate industry, manufacturers, to also exercise corporate accountability and not shy away from, addressing this particular issue.
And of course, this is concerning, Tracy, as you've mentioned. What are some of the things that you're calling for, particularly to the government?
So we are hoping that this briefing will address some of the key things that we've called for from government. And so the first thing that we hope will be the outcome of this briefing is Minister Mokoena, the Minister of Health, providing a concrete plan with clear steps and timelines on how they are going to address this issue. And that plan, we are hoping it will include the introduction of binding national chemical safety standards to ensure that endocrine disrupting chemicals are eliminated completely. Then secondly, we are hoping that they will conduct a study in schools, especially where they are distributing sanitary pads through the sanitary dignity framework, through the sanitary dignity program, to ensure that the products that they are distributing to learners, to children in South Africa, are safe and they are not, harmful to their health. And lastly, we hope that the department and also the relevant departments, government, most importantly Parliament, where government, Parliament which provide oversight and where government accounts would also ensure that there's corporate accountability. If these products have harmful substances, they need to be withdrawn from our, supermarkets until they are safe or confirmed safe for, use. So those are some of the key things that we are calling for, and we're hoping that the address today will speak or touch on some of those issues, and we'll, constantly follow up with the Department of Women, the Department of Health, the Department of Social Development, Basic Education. I'm mentioning all of these departments that are part of the Sanitary Dignity Framework program, and also Parliament. On the 1st of April, we'll be in Parliament. We are invited to present our work and also to present the bill that we are calling for. And this is something that we are going to bring along with us to ask for these departments to provide an update. What has happened since, the announcement that will take place today.
Thank you so much for your time, Tracy. Well, that was Tracy Malawana from the I Am Menstruate movement, hoping that this briefing that is about to take place any minute from now comes up with concrete plans to ensure that they do mention some of the things or some of the plans, some of the findings that they have found, and some of the plans, the measures that they will take to ensure that this study takes place, and this study goes along with information, mentioning that they are worried about their health, mentioning that they are more worried about a girl child who is really trying to understand of what is happening. So she is really hoping that this briefing will answer some of the questions that remain unanswered for now.
Certainly keeping all eyes on that briefing. As and when it starts, we'll definitely take you there as our viewer. Now, Puseletso Mokoena is the reporter watching the story for us. Thanks so much indeed for that update.